Welcome to Chalk Talk, a weekly preview of West Tennessee football featuring the Jackson Sun sports team here on JacksonSun.com.
Hi everybody, welcome to this edition of the JacksonSun.com football Chalk Talk. This is the high school version. We're going to be looking at some city games. There'll be 5 here.
Actually got 2 videos coming this week for high school.
Yeah, sure. In the 5 games. So my name is Craig Thomas. This is sports editor Brandon Shields. First city game we're going to talk about Northside at JCM. What should we expect?
Yeah, we've got a couple of city rivalry games going on this week. This one being Northside at JCM. As of Tuesday, it looks like they are going to actually get to play at JCM's field or at Lane's field where JCM plays its home games. Everything on paper suggests that this is going to be a big win for Northside like it has been the last couple of years. But I wouldn't count JCM out so quickly because I could easily see this being a trap game for Northside. Look at what they did last week. You were there in Lexington when they won in overtime in a very emotional game. Mm-hmm. I'm guessing they were probably really exhausted coming off that game. It's probably going to affect them early into the week. It's going to affect their preparation. Another thing that's going to affect the preparation is they got the bye next week. And then after the bye, they got Liberty. So there's probably going to be some people thinking easy week next week. They're already going to have their mind next week, or looking at even further at the big game they got coming up within the district. And what they might forget is that they got a team that's coming in 2-4, but I think is going to be, or is a little better than that record suggests. If they can hold on to the ball, they can stay competitive with Northside. They stay competitive, maybe get a couple of bounces go their way in the fourth quarter. We could see a big upset in this one, and Northside take its first loss.
Interesting. Trinity Christian will be at Jackson Christian. You got Lions obviously having another very good season. Jackson Christian, new coach, trying to kind of find itself. You know, on paper, you'd think, big Trinity Christian win. Is that what you think is going to happen?
I think it will happen. There's no reason to think it won't, except for a couple of things. One, Jackson Christian had 2 weeks to get ready for this game, and the last time they were out on the field, they got their first win, and you got to wonder how that's going to affect them. Does it give them a little bit more confidence? With that more confidence in the 2 weeks to get ready, are they just that much more ready for this team? But at the same time, as ready as they are compared to where they were for the first 5 weeks of the season, that's still a pretty big gap they got to fill to reach where TCA is and has been the last couple of years. We're still talking about Jackson Christian still has a shot, but they're going to need to bring their best game and get a few lucky bounces too.
Yeah, no doubt. Covington's been in Jackson already this season. They took a 3-touchdown loss to Northside. Back in the city again to play Liberty. What are you looking for out of this game?
I'll tell you what, Covington is the defending district champion, been to at least the state semifinals a couple of times the last couple of years. You wouldn't expect it if by just looking at what this team has done this year. I mean, yeah, last week they got a 34-0 win over Dyer County. That may have been in New Bern. Forgive me if I'm wrong on that. So that's easily their biggest win of the year. But in the district, they've lost to Northside and they've lost to Haywood, 2 teams. I wouldn't say they easily beat Northside last year, but they easily beat Haywood last year. And they've already taken losses, both teams. Liberty is a better team than what they were last year, and Liberty gave them a pretty good game last year. So I think this is going to be another game where Liberty makes another statement within the ranks of Class 4A.
Lexington, as we mentioned earlier, coming off an emotional loss, they'll be back here in Jackson to play Southside. Another one on paper that looks like a team that's overall been pretty good against one that hasn't been. Is this another blowout, or does Southside keep it close?
If Lexington won last week, I would give Southside a little bit more of a chance, but seeing as they're coming off of a loss, they're probably a little ticked off. Mm-hmm. Nothing is a wake-up call quite like the loss is, particularly the way that game was lost, because you were there. You can tell me if Lexington had plenty of chances to win that game. Am I right on that?
No, they did. Yeah. Absolutely, both teams did.
So they had the wake-up call there. Southside, they won in week 2 against Fayette Ware. They played 3 games since. I haven't scored a single point. They've gotten outscored, I think, 152-0 in those 3 games. Mm-hmm. At some point, something's got to change for Southside. I just don't see that being this week.
Yeah, not an easy task for sure. Tipton Rosemark will be at USJ. What should we look for out of the Bruins?
I tell you what, Tipton Rosemark comes in with the same record as USJ. They're both 4-2 coming in. And granted, it's not like USJ's 4 wins are as impressive as the teams in their 2 losses, ECS and TCA. Whereas their 4 wins, they probably combined for 4 victories combined. The record, I got to go back and look at that. So forgive me if I'm wrong, but I know it's a pretty low number. Whereas Tipton Rosemont, 2 of their wins have come against like West Memphis Christian or some, a couple of teams outside the state like that they should have beaten. And they've got a district win. That was either over Rossville Christian or Fayette Academy. I'd guess it's Fayette Academy because they're really down too. So, yeah, it may look on paper like this could be a competitive game, but I think USJ, particularly coming off the loss last week, is going to be wanting to make a statement and kind of reinforce themselves as a power in this district still. And the way to do that is to maybe get the mercy clock or mercy rule running clock going on Tipton Rosemont to celebrate homecoming.
All right. Well, 5 games here in the city. There'll be at JCM at Lane Field, assuming the conditions are good there. And Jackson Christian, Liberty, Southside, and USJ all hosting. So we'll have people at those games. If you have, any I guess, interest in any of those particular games or any of the games in our area for that matter, make sure to get that Friday morning paper with the Friday morning blitz sort of preview capsule of every game in the area.
And there's also going to be a story about Jackson City football and how much the kids enjoy trying to win those games.
Yeah, absolutely. So definitely want to check that stuff out this week. Friday night, we'll have people at various games with stories, photos, video, that sort of thing. Then we'll have that stuff on our website, jacksonsun.com, on Friday night, and then obviously in the paper on Saturday morning for updates throughout. Follow the writers, including JS editor Brandon on Twitter, and then on Facebook at Jackson Sun Sports. Brandon, anything else before we get out of here?
We'll have a video from a game this week. Just log on to jacksonsun.com and see some highlights.
Game to be determined.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we thank you for joining us. We hope you have a great week, and we'll see you on Friday.